I want to talk, if we can, about Harry Maguire. Obviously, look, not getting picked by Erik ten Hag, always getting picked by Gareth Southgate. Scored their own goal against Scotland. The Scotland crowd jeering him, some England fans jeering him as well. Gareth Southgate then comes out and defends him and almost publicly attacks everyone. Attacks us. Attacks anyone that has any critique over Harry Maguire. Like, how dare you critique a player? Like we can't have an opinion about Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire's mum then defends him as well, and everyone else jumps on the bandwagon and starts defending. Everyone all of a sudden has become his defender. Everyone's defending him. What we're saying is we don't want you picked for England because there are other centre-backs that have been picked for their clubs that are playing football right now that should be more upset. If I'm Tomori and I'm on the bench, I'm like, why is he coming on for? Yeah. If I'm Cole, I'm on the bench. So now we can't critique Harry Maguire because it's not fair to, because Gareth Southgate says you can't. Rubbish, nonsense.
Yeah, I have no idea when this happened. I don't know when critiquing a footballer, criticising a footballer's performance has been reshaped and to be considered as some sort of hate crime. Yeah. Like, I'm allowed to say if a player is playing badly. I'm allowed to have an opinion on Gareth Southgate's selection. I'm allowed to flag that Harry Maguire is totally unworthy of his place in the England team. And that isn't a hate crime. I don't need to be chastised as having a pop at his mental health. His mother doesn't need to call me out. None of those things need to happen. I talk about football. I love the game. And Harry Maguire is noteworthy. He's relevant to this conversation because he is in an England team. He has no right to be in an England team. He doesn't deserve to be in an England team. And anybody who tries to position it any other way, you know, this whole nonsense argument, and I think the one good thing that could have come out of that debacle in Scotland, the one good thing, you know, this sentiment: he's never put a foot wrong for England. I find it so annoying. He has constantly, often put a foot wrong for England. He has many times been a problem for the England national team. And suggesting that he doesn't put a foot wrong for England is completely nonsensical. Like, off the top of my head, he had a very bad game against Italy recently. And also, when England play, 99% of the time we're playing teams who don't want to beat us. We're playing teams who will be happy with a point. Therefore, playing centre-half with Declan Rice in front of you, with Jude Bellingham in front of you, chances are you're going to look all right. So I don't understand why we need to pretend that we have to protect Harry Maguire.
Yeah, where's this protection come from? Like,
I have no idea.
Where is it?
I think it's from Gareth Southgate. Gareth Southgate had a real pop at the media and people having a go at Harry Maguire as if it was totally unjust. It isn't unjust. You know, Harry Maguire, since the World Cup, Harry Maguire has started for his club on 11 occasions. He has started for England on 10. You know the contradicting factor about Gareth Southgate is, and this is a big one as well, I don't play Foden as a 10 because Pep Guardiola doesn't play him as a 10 or a midfielder. Yeah. Yet you're picking Erik ten Hag. So you're picking Harry Maguire, who doesn't play because Erik ten Hag doesn't pick him. He said, well, there must be a reason. There must be a reason for that. Phil Foden doesn't play on the wing for his club, so there must be a reason for that. I would counter that by saying, well, Harry Maguire doesn't play for his club, so there must be a reason for that. James Maddison doesn't play on the wing for his club, so there must be a reason for that. No, Gareth Southgate picks and chooses, and for some reason, he has this weird loyalty and love for Harry Maguire, regardless of what's going on, regardless of the form of any other centre-half. And it's infuriating because football, particularly international football, it's so easy to pick a team. It's a meritocracy. Are you the best from that territory in that position? No, but I do understand. It is that, but I do understand how if you have an England 11 and someone maybe's dropped out of form a little bit, there is a loyalty to it. There has to be a loyalty to it. Dropping out of form is very different to being dropped from your club. Completely agree. And that's why when Gareth Southgate has a pop at media and everyone for having a little moan, and that's all it is sometimes about Harry Maguire, you are to blame, Mr. Southgate, for picking him. Of course. We wouldn't have a pop at Harry Maguire if you didn't pick him. The conversation around Harry Maguire is because Gareth Southgate is putting him in the spotlight. If you want Harry Maguire to be insulated from criticism and to be protected, I tell you what, don't bring him on when you don't need to. So easy. So simple. It's so easy. England are 2-0 up against Scotland. Have a look at Tomori, who, by the way, you've completely disregarded. Have a look at him and say, you know what, maybe it's time for Tomori to get a go. It's so easy. It's actually, if you distill this and boil it down to exactly what it is, it's poor management. That's what it is. Poor management. It's really bad management. And we're now discussing Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, his confidence is going to be rock bottom. His mother has decided to come out and have a pop. You've got people phoning into talkSPORT and sort of blaming people like Mark Goldbridge and YouTubers, suggesting that Mark Goldbridge, as a YouTuber with a big platform on YouTube, is setting the narrative around Harry Maguire.
Crazy.
It's completely ridiculous. Of course, Mark Goldbridge doesn't have the ability to do that. The person who does have the ability to do that is Gareth Southgate, and he's the one who's passing the buck on to everyone else.
Indeed. Jadon Sancho, another big problem for Erik ten Hag. Whereas Harry Maguire will probably be in the squad against Wolves, might even start, who knows, right? Jadon Sancho certainly won't be. He's been training with the kids as well. There seems to be a massive swing in player power. Right? I mean, because 15, 20 years ago, I don't think any player is going to come up against a manager like Jadon Sancho has maybe done against Erik ten Hag, or that's the way I'm perceiving it anyway. When Erik ten Hag says something, you almost try and knuckle down and say, you know, I want to prove him wrong. I'm going to prove him wrong. I'm going to get my place back. And you watch Erik ten Hag. I'm going to show you the form that got me this 70 million plus move to Manchester United, got me in the England squad, rather than do what Jadon Sancho has done, which is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
You pin this tweet, which I think's ill-informed. I don't know who's advising him to do that. And then you go to New York and hit the nightclubs. Yeah,
it's so bad. It's been a constant theme of Jadon Sancho's career, a lack of punctuality, a lack of discipline, a lack of respect. And it's got to the stage now where I think in the past, particularly during his Dortmund days, people would swallow a lot from Jadon Sancho because the talent was there and the performances were there.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
He's now been playing for Manchester United for a long time, and we haven't really seen, there's been glimpses. There's been the odd goal. I remember one against Liverpool around this time last year. Very good, very calm, very, very composed finish. But generally speaking, it's been very underwhelming. It's been an underwhelming signing. Hasn't delivered, hasn't lived up for expectations. And
ultimately, I mean, let's be honest, and it's brutal, but it's been a flop. If it's anyone else, I mean, look what we're saying about Anthony. Obviously, look, he's got his off-field problems now, but Anthony, we class as a flop.
I think Jadon Sancho has been a flop as well.
It's not worked out, has it?
And I think that the way that he decided to effectively declare war on Erik ten Hag by going onto social media and pinning his fight to the top of his profile, that's making sure that everybody is aware of his stance on this. And I don't really understand it, because you can't win. And people will say, well, the manager had his say, therefore the player is entitled to his. And I'm afraid that's not how it works.
Isn't that a counter-argument to it, though?
No, I don't think
Isn't that how it works?
Not really, no. I think
so. It's okay for the manager to bury you? And that's kind of effectively what Erik ten Hag has done, which is bury him?
There is a status here. There is a status. It isn't an equal playing field. When you are the manager, you have a higher status and you can say things about a player. The player doesn't always have the opportunity to retort.
But clearly, some players are bigger than managers.
No. Well,
Erik ten Hag is certainly not Sir Alex Ferguson. Some players are bigger than managers.
But Erik ten Hag would argue that, Erik ten Hag, the way that he's conducted himself since he's taken on that job, has been a disciplinarian. He has held everybody to exactly the same standard. Whether it's Alejandro Garnacho in pre-season, whether it was Marcus Rashford during the season, whether it was Cristiano Ronaldo. If you do not conform to the standard that is set by Erik ten Hag, you will not see that any first team action. Final question, quick one. Simple yes or no. Does Jadon Sancho put on a Manchester United shirt again? I don't think he does, no. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.